Stevland Hardaway Morris, better known to the world as Stevie Wonder, signed his first record deal at age 11 and scored his first Billboard #1 by age 13. He transitioned from child musical prodigy in the 1960s to one of the most influential artists of the 1970s and 80s, bringing jazz, R&B, reggae, and funk into the mainstream and having a major hand in bringing synthesizer sounds into mainstream music as well. He became the first black artist ever to win the Grammy for Album of the Year. He is one of only 4 artists to ever win Album of the Year 3 times. Simply put, Stevie Wonder is one of the most important songwriters and musicians of our time, with an absolutely astonishing catalog of solo songs and collaborations. So join the great pop culture debate as we get uptight and try to name the best Stevie Wonder song. If there are songs in the key of life, I think I needed a locksmith. I'm your host, Eric Resniak. Please help me welcome my panelist for this episode. She is dreaming of life, and life has become a dream. It's the return of Amma Marfo.
Man, I keep losing when I come here, but I will be loving this podcast always.
Oh, well, I regret to inform you that 8 times 8 times 8 is still not 4, but give it a few more years under this Department of Education and we'll see what happens. Our next panelist just called to say he loves you. It's Derek Makita.
That's right, Eric. Love's in need of love today.
Speaking of intervisions, I should really schedule my next colonoscopy. And finally, some call him a master blaster, others a part-time lover. It's Gary Jackson.
Oh, hey, Mr. Know-It-All. I am overjoyed to be here, Eric.
And my friend, you are still hotter than July. And up in the producer booth, we have Bob Erlenbach, who is remaining true to his heart. And with introductions out of the way, let's grab this episode's bracket from greatpopculturedebate.com and get into our Stevie 16. First up, the bulk of the panel is resting its mind assured that it will be loving one seed as for always, but Gary is hoping his argument will be just enough to have us living for 4-seed Living in the City from 1973. Gary, take it away.
Okay, just to start off, this is one of my ultimate favorite songs, and I almost put it going so far in a bracket, but just some highlights of the song itself, the storytelling. It's basically Stevie is singing about Black American experience in America, and it really touches on the social commentary that still resonates today, and I think for the song to be recorded so long ago that everything he's saying is still happening is sad, but also very important. And I think that just makes the song, it should have stayed on the list just for that for me. But the song, it does, some of the themes that it hint at, it confronts it head on. And I think that's important. And we don't see that a lot in music today. And I think Stevie Wonder has always been amazing in really tackling controversial quote unquote themes, but he does it in a way that it really is in your face, but in a beautiful way delivered, and it really makes you like pay attention and listen, and that leads me to like the next point in his style. As we would hear throughout the entire debate, Stevie's an incredible musician with the synthesizers and things like that. But his signature, as we would get to know throughout his catalog, it blends soul, funk, and electronic elements into this particular song. But vocally, Stevie carries as well to me, but he carries with this urgency throughout the entire song. And for those reasons, I absolutely love this song, and I wish it would had a fight a little longer in a bracket, but Living in the City will always be one of my favorite songs.
If you're listening to this and being like, hold up, how is Living in the City probably getting outed in round 1? This is a brutal bracket. Like, I think I sent it around, and I know at least 2 other people on this panel were like, how am I supposed to make these decisions? It is a really intense 16 because this is a catalog that is 30 years deep, and it's not just years. These are creatively very important songs and socially important songs. So it's going to be tough the whole way through. Amma, has Gary swayed you, or are you sticking with as?
I am going to stick with as. I think there are like kind of 2 running themes that we have with Stevie. There is Lover Boy Stevie, and those songs are unassailable. But then there is also very much like social justice warrior paragon Stevie, and this is one of those casualties that like we got one in each lane, and I wish that we didn't have to knock it out, but I do have as going all the way, so it wasn't gonna win.
Derek, what about you? Has he swayed you, or are you sticking with as?
No, I completely agree. It's going to happen a lot in these brackets. You're going to see as we go through them. Some of these matches were just freaking brutal.
Yeah, I agree with that. Gary did a great job talking about living in the city, but it's up against As, which is kind of a religious experience. So we are going to move As into round two. Next, the panel is unanimous in its decision to knight two-seed Sir Duke from 1977 and move it into round two, which means three-seed Master Blaster from 1980 has been blasted out of this bracket. Just speaking kind of extemporaneously on Master Blaster. This is my new favorite word, obviously, by the way. This is reggae Stevie at its finest. It's such a fun song. It's the we be jamming, every jamming, jamming, jamming. It's a great groovy party song. I love it. It's up against Sir Duke, and Sir Duke is peerless, right? So again, difficult songs, but we have to make difficult decisions in this bracket. Next, most of the panel is saying yes to 4C Do I Do from 1982, but Amma has no anxiety about her decision to pick 1C Don't You Worry About a Thing from 1974. Amma, don't be standing on the side as you push for worry.
Well, I wouldn't say no worries. I will own it. I was one of the panelists that took a very long time to fill this out. I was reminded via text message and took 2 additional days because I could not do it. This was a tough one because I love both of these, but I think you'll find, and you'll hear a running theme in probably all of our arguments, but particularly in mine, there's some sentimental pieces to it. And I got an adorable video about 2 years back from one of my nieces during potty training, where to kind of get her to sit on the toilet, she has like a toy guitar, and her mom would be like, you can sing if you want, like just to keep your head in the game. And I got a beautiful video of like a 2-year-old with a tiny guitar singing Don't You Worry About a Thing by Stevie Wonder, which is in its own right absolutely adorable, but also just a sign of how timeless these songs are, because I think we have so many conversations with like all this access to music, what kids really know and like will be able to be attached to. And that was just kind of a reminder that there is a timelessness to a lot of these songs, and that Steve has absolutely earned that. And to me, Don't You Worry About a Thing has a little bit more of that stickiness to kind of stretch across generations.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me because Do I Do is from the 80s part of Stevie, and the 80s part of Stevie has a very distinct sound. But Derek, did she sway you, or are you sticking with Do I Do?
I completely agree with everything Amma said. I think the problem that I have with Don't You Worry About a Thing is just some of the choices, the downward runs that happen, but also like the mock Spanish at the beginning of the song is really weird to me. So yeah, Do I Do is getting my vote here.
Gary, is it going to be Do I Do, or is it going to be Don't You Worry About a Thing?
I also have to agree real quick with that it is 2 parallels of like Loverboy Stevie and social justice awareness Stevie. That's a great carry through theme, because I think that was going to be my argument criteria. But I am going to stick with my choice for this one as well.
Do I Do? Yes, he does. I will also stick with Do I Do. I actually was not that super familiar with Don't You Worry About a Thing before we did this episode, but I love it. It's a really great song. I actually love the Spanish part in the beginning. I find it very charming. And Stevie likes to do a lot of play acting in a lot of his songs, and I love it. Like, show me another artist doing this at the level he is. I'm obsessed. But we are going to move Do I Do into round two. Next, it's another 3-1 split, as the bulk of the panel isn't spooked to support 2-seed Superstition from 1972. But Amma is hoping for a miracle as she pushes for 3-seed I Wish from 1976. Amma, tell us why you still think fondly on I Wish.
I won't win this. Like, my wish will not be fulfilled, but I can live with that. I Wish is one of those ones that, again, I think it has this multi-generational appeal for a couple different reasons. So it's like, we found it, like, as I Wish, and then it later then got sampled into Wild Wild West. So if you were a kid growing up in the era of like Will Smith's Greatest Power, which I was, then you kind of come back to it. So you kind of get to revisit it that way. And then not that long after that, it showed up really prominently in some of the first ads for Happy Feet with Mumble, the baby penguin, with motion capture from Savion Glover, for those who do not know. So there's like a really interesting cultural tie there. So again, there's this timelessness to it that, not to say Superstition doesn't have, it absolutely does, but just the number of ways in which you could come across I Wish, I thought was really interesting. So the wish will not be fulfilled. I do know that I will not win this, but I did want to speak up for it. And yeah, Happy Feet had some interesting surprises. It turns into a movie you don't expect, but that first trailer was really highly anticipated, and that's because I love Tap and I love Stevie.
Amen to that. I'm going to say literally up against any other song in this bracket I Wish would have gone through for me. It's up against Superstition. It's a bad luck draw. Gary, are you sticking with Superstition?
I am absolutely sticking with Superstition, but another just kudos to you. So many artists, even to today, have sampled something from Stevie, and it
Yeah.
just highlights his incredible talent and reach and range that it still resonates today. But I'm going to stick with Superstition.
His innovation, because listen, doing my research for this, I was like, nobody was doing sounds like this before Stevie did them. Derek Makita, is it going to be Superstition or is it going to be I Wish?
It's going to be Superstition, but I tip my hat to the fact that on this podcast, we like to have the rubric of being prolific in a lot of our music episodes. So the fact that that song kind of like birthed other songs is very meaningful to us.
Yeah. Seriously, any other song I would have moved it forward, but Superstition is just it's a literal work of art, and I Wish is just a great banger of a song. So we will be moving Superstition into round two. Next, 75% of the panel is enamored of one seed Isn't She Lovely from 1976, but I'm creeping on the down low in support of four seed Part-Time Lover from 1985. I'll explain why I know that Part-Time Lover is so wrong, but it feels so right. So this is the first single off of In Square Circle, which is Stevie's last number one hit, at least up until this point. It actually hit number one on numerous charts, including the Billboard Top 100, R&B, dance, and adult contemporary charts. We love an adult contemporary number one in the 1980s on this podcast. And this was actually one of Stevie's highest charting songs over in the UK. This is a very 80s sounding track. The synths are synthing, but it has incredible backup talent on it, which I did not even realize when I was listening to it. That is Luther Vandross singing backup on it. Also, it's Philip Bailey and Sarita Wright of Earth, Wind, and Fire singing backup. Those are your backup singers? Like, are you kidding me? It tells the story of a man cheating on his wife who then discovers that his wife is also having an affair on him. And that is like, this is peak 80s. This is, Miami Vice. This is Dynasty. All of these things were very much happening in the culture at this point. I love Isn't She Lovely? It has such a beautiful, catchy melody. It becomes a little too twee for me, but I had to at least talk on Part-Time Lover. Amma, have I swayed you? You're going with Isn't She Lovely?
I am going with Isn't She Lovely, but I will say that I appreciate you bringing up just like the background talent that shows up in Stevie songs, and there's just this fostering of talent that he's been known for really his whole career. We talk in the warm-up about Fingertips Part 2, and one piece of trivia that I did not share there that I will share here is that the drummer on Fingertips Part 2 is Marvin Gaye. So
oh my God, that's crazy.
It's just, they're just like, oh, and you know who else was there? And I'm like, wait a minute. So I love that there are so many songs on here that you'll just find like secret pockets of extra talent that you wouldn't know from listening, but those that know the discography well will know it. But yeah, Isn't She Lovely? The twee part, the sentimental part, that's what gives it the slight edge for me.
Got it. Gary, are you sticking with Isn't She Lovely or are you open to Part-Time Lover?
Oh no, I'm sticking with Isn't She Lovely? I'm a little softy.
You're a softie, I know. Derek, is it going to be Isn't She Lovely or is it going to be Part-Time Lover?
So it's going to be Isn't She Lovely? I hear you, everything you're saying about like the tweeness of it, and quite frankly, just like the mock Spanish in Don't You Worry About a Thing. I can't stand the baby crying in Isn't She Lovely? It's just weird to me. And then it just goes on and on at the end of the song where he's got, the interjections of like having Aisha in the bath, whatever. But yeah, it's Isn't She Lovely is the more solid song to me.
All right, we will be moving Isn't She Lovely into round two. And for the remainder of round one, we have not one, not two, but three unanimous decisions from our panel, which has decided that three seed Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours gets the stamp of approval over two seed You Are the Sunshine in My Life. One seed For Once in My Life will be coming back for a second helping instead of four seed My Sherry Amour. And two seed Higher Ground is transcending over three seed Overjoyed. But Derek, you wanted to speak on You Are the Sunshine in My Life.
Yeah, I'm really sad to see You Are the Sunshine of My Life going out here because it is such a great love song. And it's absolutely one of Stevie's most recognizable, right? It's got kind of a warm and intimate sound that just kind of hooks you from the first notes. And the lyrics aren't flashy. They're sincere and they're grounded. And it's less a proclamation of infatuation than it is a testament to like enduring partnership. You know what I mean? It feels cozy and lived in rather than dramatic. The style is Stevie soul, but it's got little flourishes of like pop and soft jazz. And frankly, it was adult contemporary before we even had the term, right? It's been a staple at weddings and anniversaries for over generations now. It reached number one on the Billboard Hot 100. It's a great showcase for Stevie's versatility. It's just up against Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours, which is an absolute juggernaut of his catalog.
Amen to that. Amma, you wanted to speak on My Sherry Amore.
Yeah, again, this is, and we're going to keep saying it, like, if it weren't up against what it was up against, we would be looking at a very different bracket. But I mean, I love this one, and I feel like it's another one of those ones where there are multiple language versions of it. So there's a Spanish language version and also an Italian language version. It really has wide international appeal, but again, it's just up against something that it wasn't going to beat. So I am sad to see it go, but I understand.
I'll speak a little bit on Overjoyed. When I was working on this episode, I was like, where is Overjoyed? How did that not make it? The good news is that it did make it. The bad news is that it's out unanimously in round one. But this is one of the most beautiful songs that Stevie ever wrote. And listening to it over and over again for this, the water drip in the background I had never noticed before until he's just such an inventive musician and so thoughtful, and I just everything about the running melody, it is just enveloping. It sadly is up against Higher Ground, which I like. That's a movement, that's not a song, like that is a movement, and otherwise Overjoyed 100% would have continued for me. So with that being said, that's the end of round one. We're going to take a quick break to check in on our part-time lovers. We will be right back.
Do you love the podcast but wish you could see the look on Eric's face when someone disses Barbra Streisand? Then you need to head over to our YouTube channel. We're bringing you full video episodes, hilarious shorts, and visual breakdowns of our legendary brackets. See the passion, the props, and the occasional facepalm in high definition. Search for The Great Pop Culture Debate on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. It's a whole different show when you can see the receipts.
And we are back for round two of our Best Stevie Wonder Song debate. I always like to open it up to see if any of my panelists have anything they'd like to share in terms of what they're working on. Amma, I know you are always busy, you're booked and blessed. Where can people find what's going on with Amma Marfo?
So the best places to find me or my comedy are Instagram and YouTube, both at Amma Marfo. And yeah, if you get loud, I'll come do it where you live. So let me know. It would be a pleasure.
Love that. The best place to follow us is on Blue Sky at gpcd.bsky.social or at Great Pop Culture Debate on Instagram or TikTok. You should also make sure to subscribe to our page on YouTube, where we are posting original video, including video versions of these episodes. So make sure you check us out over there. Now, let's get into round two so we can reach our higher ground. Currently, Ultimate 1 seed Az continues to have the edge over 2 seed Sir Duke, but we have yet to discuss either of these songs, so I will explain why my true love of Az waits for nothing. But Derek, I would like you to give us all that jazz on Sir Duke first.
So I agree that Az is the right pick here. It also means that sadly we have to say goodbye to Sir Duke before we've even had a chance to speak on its merits, because it is a fantastic song. Not only is this a jazzy tribute to the legend that is Duke Ellington, it also makes reference to other greats like Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald and Count Basie, which are all titans of music in the 20th century. Stevie says, quote, "Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand. It captures the idea of music as a soft power perfectly, and it brings people together, it builds bridges, it knocks down walls. It's super relevant for right now. This song gives us funk and soul with one of the more recognizable brass riffs in pop history, which is fitting as a tribute to Duke Ellington and his kind of, big band sound. I really want to use the word jaunty here because I think it is one of the best words I can think of to describe Sir Duke. It is a jaunty song. It's bright, it's celebratory, it's upbeat. It's just up against Az, which is a frickin' revelation, and it's one of Stevie's finest moments.
It's funny you use that term because that's literally the way I describe it. This is a single off of 1976's Songs in the Key of Life. Az was actually not a big hit for Stevie, which I did not realize until I was doing my research for this. It cracked the top 40, but that's about it. It was inspired by Stevie's time in Ghana in the mid-70s, where he went to recuperate after he was in a car accident in the early 70s, and him being in Africa really helped him to reconnect to people and to appreciate life. And the lyrics of Az can be interpreted so many different ways in relation to that. Obviously, there's the textual, which is a person speaking to their loved one about how much they're going to love them. I've heard it's like Stevie re-engaging with humanity in general. I've heard some people even suggest that this is like the creator of the universe kind of speaking to his faith in the world. And it's all sounds beautiful, and it is. That's the thing. Like, it's literally, you would like read these in the book of Revelation. It's, you know, when the dolphins hit the sky and the parrots live in the sea. It's really wild stuff, but it's just builds and it has this gospel vibe to it. It is a song that transports you when you listen to it, and it's just absolutely beautiful and moving. In 2019, Spin included As in its list of the 30 best disco songs that every millennial should know, which on the one hand is great because everyone should know this song. Disco? What? I don't understand that. But
No,
like,
it's
by all
not.
means,
No, it's not.
by all means, listen to As. Marfo, are you sticking with As, or are you thinking about switching to Sir Duke?
Stevie Wonder loves Ghana. I am from Ghana. And it's so interesting to me that Spin piece kind of classifies it as disco, because I think that minimizes it when, as you're talking about, it's an expansive song. Like, it's a huge song, both in terms of like the instrumentation and the lyrics and just the feelings that you get when you have it. It is bigger than that classification. And in fact, it's big enough to kind of dwarf something as amazing as Sir Duke, which is a hard thing to do, but Stevie did it himself, which is amazing. So I have to stick with As here.
Gary Jackson, is it going to be As or Sir Duke?
Honestly, as you guys were speaking, I went and I just had a moment of realization when first time I ever heard Sir Duke was like 1999. Miss Lancaster was my music teacher. And when Derek, we were just talking about the lyrics, that's exactly what I was singing in my head. And for that song just put me back in that happy space of learning music and about Stevie Wonder. So I'm going to switch to Sir Duke just because it just touched me in a way of nostalgia. So Sir Duke for me.
There are no wrong answers in this matchup, specifically in any of these, but As is the 1 seed and Sir Duke is the 2 seed, and so for that, As will continue into the final 4. Next, the panel is split between 4 seed Do I Do and 2 seed Superstition. Derek, knock on wood, throw salt over your shoulder, whatever you need to do to secure a final 4 spot for Superstition. I'll explain why I've got candy kisses full of love for Do I Do. Derek, please go first.
So here's the thing. I think that Do I Do has had a nice run up until this point, but up against Superstition? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Superstition just might be the Bohemian Rhapsody Ursula pepperoni pizza of this whole episode. It is the damn thesis statement of his entire funk style. It easily charted #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Nothing sounded like Superstition before he kind of birthed this into the world. It's direct, it's punchy, it's message driven when most other funk songs were simply getting by on vibes. Not only is it built around one of the most iconic clavinet riffs of all time, I'd argue one of the best riffs of all time, period. It also showcases Stevie's musicianship on several different instruments. This is truly a musical phenom coming into his prime. It has to move forward, if only to see if it can hold up against some of the other personal picks that we have in the final.
A great argument, and I have to say, like, I love Do I Do. She's lovely, Gail. Isn't she lovely? But it doesn't really stand up against Superstition. I'm just going to be honest with you right now. But let's talk a little bit about Do I Do. This is a song off of 1982's Stevie Wonder's Original Musicarium compilation album. It was a top 20 song on the Billboard Hot 100, and it was a chart topper on the Billboard Dance charts, and went to #2 on the Soul charts. The album version of Do I Do is 10.5 minutes long, which is amazing. It features trumpets from Dizzy Gillespie, and also Stevie Wonder raps on it, which is a rare and thrilling moment. Lyrically, it's very simple, it's joyous, it's triumphant, it's about a man in love, it's catchy, it's funky. That trumpet line just cuts through everything. Ja Rule samples the song and living it up. But that being said, it's up against Superstition, and I don't have anything that's going to counter that argument. Is it Do I Do or is it Superstition?
It is Superstition. Like, I'm sure this isn't true, but when I think about when I first encountered Stevie, I believe the first song that I ever heard of his was Superstition. I was like, I'm in. What else has he got? And then I think too about Wesley Morris a couple years ago did this really expansive, intensive Stevie Wonder specific podcast called The Wonder of Stevie. And given what that was going to do and the caliber of folks that they brought in to talk about that, I believe includes both Obamas, that was the song they picked. They picked Superstition because that's what gets you in. Like, that is, for so many people, the first entry into Stevie, and there's something really powerful about that it is that distinctive, that it is that good, that it makes people curious to go, what else has this guy got? And the answer is so much, including Do I Do.
Yeah, everything. Gary, is it going to be Do I Do, or is it going to be Superstition?
It is absolutely Superstition. It's one of the most recognizable, that snare or whatever, that boom, 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 right away. Superstition for sure.
All right, so we will be moving Superstition into the final four. Most of the panel has got mail for 3 seeds, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours. But Gary is baby crazy over 1 seed, Isn't She Lovely? Amma, you've got the future of Signed, Sealed, Delivered in your hands. Gary, tell us why Isn't She Lovely is made for love. I'd like Gary to go first, please.
Well, I am so smitten by this song even more now because it does resonate to me in my personal life. I just had a baby myself, and to know that Stevie wrote this song for, is it Aisha, right?
Aisha,
his daughter.
Aisha.
It just is literally pure joy, but all about humanity as well. And it, re-listening to this song with the stage of my life, like, it did put a different perspective on it. For me, the song just radiates warmth, and it literally is just like a hug. I think someone mentioned that earlier, like, his music is like is cozy, and this song, it just like literally makes me smile. But in terms of like just why this song is amazing and competitive, is I believe this song was not released as a single, but was still huge.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's so recognizable, it didn't even wasn't even one of his like commercial singles. It just, again, shows his reach. But yeah, it just makes me literally think of my little one, my little son now.
Yeah, I believe, and like, as soon as I saw that vote, I was like, I suspect I know where Gary is coming from on this, which I respect, and I love that for you. Amma, talk to us about Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours.
So I want to first kind of honor what Gary has shared about a firstborn and what that can mean and how this song kinds to resonate. I wrote a book because, again, I love giving people homework. So this is Wannabe by Aisha Harris, who is rotating panelist on a different pop culture podcast, Pop Culture Happy Hour. And the first chapter is about this, like, in-family lore that she believed and would tell people for years. Well, my name is Aisha, and I was born after a name that my parents heard in a Stevie Wonder song. And then years later, she learned, like, actually that wasn't true. They picked it from something else. But it's got, like, and this is a wonderful book and I highly recommend it, but there's just something about being that firstborn kid, of which I am also, that, like, you get the feeling involved in that. Now, with that said, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, in addition to being an avid and vocal proponent for the post office, buy stamps, they keep threatening to defund them. I also just think that there is a communality to this song, in the sense that, like, I've never been in a place where I could hear it with more than one person where it didn't just turn into a sing-along. And there's something really beautiful and social about the way that it kind of, like, brings people together. You mentioned that You've Got Mail of it, and I do love that it kind of pops up in that context as well, because You've Got Mail is also a movie that brings people together. But yeah, I think the experience of Isn't She Lovely is deeply personal, whereas this experience of Signed, Sealed, Delivered is very communal, and I'm feeling very communal. I was when I filled this bracket out. I am now. So that is where I am headed.
Awesome. Derek, is it going to be Isn't She Lovely, or is it going to be Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours?
It is 100% Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
I love the Isn't She Lovely journey for you, Gary, and I think it makes complete and total sense. I had mentioned in round one, it gets a little twee for me. It's a beautiful, beautiful harmony, and it is, like, even my cold dead heart gets a little aw when he's got little baby Aisha. Time to get out of the tub, baby. Like, it's very cute. But I am going to give it to Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours, which is, my God, what a funky song that is. Just boom, slap you across the face. So Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours will move into the final four. Finally, in round two, the bulk of the panel won't desert 1 seed for Once in My Life, but Gary keeps on believing that he can get 2 seed Higher Ground into the final four. Derek, do your best to make sure For Once in My Life won't be alone anymore, at least when it comes to the votes. Gary, I'm so darn glad you get to try it again to argue for Higher Ground. Derek, please go first.
I'm going to approach this argument a little bit differently because I think either song could easily move forward here. They're both fantastic at what they set out to do. My
My biggest knock against Higher Ground is that the more I listened to our playlist of the top 16 vote getters for the episode, it just ended up seeming too similar to Superstition in its composition and style. Different messages, yes, but I had a hard time picking between Superstition and Higher Ground when choosing what should advance in their kind of respective matchups in the brackets. So that's number one. When I come down on the side of For Once in My Life is that it feels like such a solid contribution to 60s Motown Stevie. It felt like it was heralding, the more mature Stevie that we'd end up getting in the 70s, right? It's brilliant. It's orchestral. It's upbeat. It's got the Stevie harmonica that we all love. But more than that, it's a love song that feels grateful and joyful. It's one of the more passionate vocal performances from Stevie. It feels like he's fighting for the song emotionally. I also think it would be a real shame to not have one of his biggest Motown hits in the final. So I really think he's doing something here that's unique. And here on this podcast, we like to have some variety in our finals. So that's where I'm coming down on it.
Great argument. Thank you, Derek. But Gary, talk to me about Higher Ground.
Oh, Derek, that was actually a really, really good argument. However, Higher Ground is such a powerful spiritual message. The song lyrics itself is about growth, resiliency, reincarnation, and the idea of us learning from our past mistakes. When you really pull back the lyrics, and that's what I get from it. But the song is such that bass line, it keeps you literally going. Like you are dancing, you're grooving, and so you don't think about like, oh, it is very similar to Superstition. But it is one of the key tracks on one of his most critically acclaimed works, outside of The Keys of Life, that album, which I did not know, but I love. And just a nod, I believe this song was featured on Seeing Our Stage, right? The like dance movie.
I love that movie.
See?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
yes.
it's a cult classic.
Yep.
And I believe that was the first time I ever heard this song. So it just talks about, I guess the through theme is just Stevie's music and his work itself is just cross artists, cross genres and mediums and things like that. So for those reasons, I believe Higher Ground should move forward. And it is very different from Superstition to me.
All right. Thank you. Amma, is it going to be Higher Ground or is it going to be For Once in My Life?
It's going to be For Once in My Life here. I think in speaking to the kind of communal nature that I think I am kind of in the spirit in, but also B, that Gary just mentioned, with something like Higher Ground. The Stevie version is kind of what got this song to take off. He was not the first to record it. I believe he was the fourth. The Temptations were the version right before him. They recorded it around the same time, and ultimately the Stevie one... Well, no, the Temptations one was the one that Berry Gordy ended up liking more, but the Stevie Wonder one, I think, is the one that kind of caught. That being said, I love the Temptations version. There are a couple theatrical versions of it as well, one in the Temptations movie, another in the play, the musical, Ain't Too Proud. It's a wonderful, wonderful song, and just to think about how Stevie really made it soar in a way that there are multiple versions before it and since. Frank Sinatra's done it, Tony Bennett's done it, but you know the Stevie version. So I think to be able to be singular in that many versions of it is something that's really special.
Yeah, this is a really hard... This could be a Final Four matchup for sure. These are both excellent songs.
Easily.
In listening to this again, I agree with Gary. The bass line on Higher Ground is so sick. It grabs you. It has got the funk. It's got the soul. But in listening For Once in My Life, you mentioned the term orchestral, Derek. It is a musical conversation, this song.
Yes.
Like, I was really paying attention to the ragtime piano at the beginning that's talking to something else over here. Then the whistle comes in with its own line. It is truly like something that could be on Broadway. And it was a pop hit. And for that reason, I am going to give it to For Once in My Life. But there is no bad decision here, and everybody did a great job. So with that being said, we are going to move For Once in My Life, which is the 1 seed, into the Final Four. And with that, we have our Final Four. We're going to take a quick break so we can boogie down with some reggae women. We'll be right back.
You know that feeling when you finish a debate and you just have more to say? At the Great Pop Culture Debate, our Patreon members aren't just listeners, they're the inner circle. By joining our Patreon, you get exclusive bonus episodes, early access to polls, and the chance to hang out with us in our Discord. Help us keep the lights on and the debates heated. Join the community at patreon.com/greatpopculturedebate, because your hot take deserves a home.
And we are back with the final four of our best Stevie Wonder Song debate. Let's take a quick look at where we at. It's As a 1 seed versus Superstition a 2 seed. Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours a 3 seed. Crazy. How is that a 3 seed? Versus For Once in My Life a 1 seed. Amma also was stunned, chagrined, shocked, gagged, gooped that Superstition was a 2 seed, not a 1 seed. Is that accurate, Amma?
I am, and I'm without Tums, so like it doesn't feel good over here.
We are suffering for our art right now, as Stevie did himself. So let's start with As versus Superstition. I'd like to start at the top of the pack. Amma, Marfo, where are you going on this one?
Luckily, I am set in this. Otherwise, I'd be very upset that I have to go first. But it's As.
All right. And is it strictly because of the Ghanaian connection, or is it also because you just think it's a better song?
I had forgotten about the Ghanaian connection before I did my bracket, so then I had it going all the way. So that is just, it's reaffirmed my correct ancestral instincts.
Perfect. Love that. Derek, is it going to be As or Superstition for you?
So it's going to be As for me, and I think it comes down to the fact that Black folks like to talk about the ancestors, and white folks don't really know what they're talking about when they talk about the ancestors, right?
No, we do not.
When I listen to As, I can hear what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's going to be As for me.
It's a great way of putting that. Gary, is it going to be As or Superstition for you?
I think for me, it's going to be Superstition.
I feel bad, Gary, because I feel like you're getting jerked around this episode. I feel really bad about
It's all
that.
right. I like a little pull here and there.
Okay, good. I'm also giving it to As, and I do find it remarkable that As, again, was not a huge hit for him. It really wasn't. But it is, if you listen to his catalog, it's just such an enveloping song. It is so deeply moving, and yeah, I can't get away from it. As much as I love Superstition, it's a great track. As it speaks to me in a really deep way. Okay, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours versus For Once in My Life. I'd like to start with Gary Jackson. Where are you going on this one? I don't think you've had either of these two in your final four.
I do not. My bracket is worse than the March Madness. You know what? I'm trying to think about like themes. And so I need to keep something that's upbeat. And so I'm going to go with Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours.
Okay. I'd like to go to Derek. Is it going to be Signed, Sealed, Delivered or For Once in My Life?
It's For Once in My Life, 100%.
Amma Marfo, Signed, Sealed, Delivered or For Once in My Life?
I feel like if nothing else, this episode is a demonstration that the Black delegation is not a monolith, because I feel like I've disagreed with Gary in the bracket several times. Like, philosophically, I believe we are actually very strongly aligned.
Yup.
Yes.
But For Once in My Life is coming out a little bit ahead for me. And again, just like the communal nature of how many folks before and since have been able to make something of it. And I am so attached to that Temptations version. And yet I know, like, the Stevie one is not literally, but like it's the blueprint. Like, it's so special, and he just brings a feeling into it that is so unique. And I think that that's a really special thing.
Yeah, don't hate me, Gary. I'm also giving it For Once in My Life. This is a song that is so hopeful and so grateful. And so it speaks, I think, to people who are lonely in a very powerful way. And Signed, Sealed, Delivered is a great song, and it's funky, and it's so much fun. And it is the, like, we're together, and I'm with you. Like, whatever you need to do, I'm still right by you. For Once in My Life is like, I have been through it, and I am here, and I found what I've been looking for. And it's moving in a very different way than As, but these are both really emotional songs. So that gives us a final two of As versus For Once in My Life, both 1 seeds. I'm going to start in the middle of the pack with Derek Makita. Is it going to be As or For Once in My Life?
I think For Once in My Life is an unimpeachable song. I think that As, what it contributes to just music in general and what he does in the song is just, it's perfection. It's perfection. And I don't think enough people know the song. And I wish that you would go and listen to it right after this episode. So it's As for me.
He makes a point. We have a playlist for every one of these songs up on greatpopculturedebate.com, not just the top 16, but also I think about 10 more Stevie songs, and I'll probably put some more on there before we're finished. So get thee to your website and check it out and listen to that track list. Gary Jackson, As or For Once in My Life?
I might be alone here again, folks, but I think Eric, you made a good point about for once in my life, and it reminded me of my argument for higher ground and just resiliency and just learning from our past. And so for that reason, I'm gonna go with for once in my life.
He won't let sorrow hurt him, even if he is alone. Amma, Marfo, is it going to be As or For Once in My Life?
So I think when you come down to it, these songs are doing two very different things. I think that For Once in My Life is immensely relatable because it is a very specific experience that is made universal. So it's like there are folks who have felt lonely. There are folks who have found that person who has kind of solved or helped fill in that hole of that loneliness. And when you have that feeling, it is both deeply personal and widely universal in that you kind of wish for it for everybody. And For Once in My Life does that beautifully. But again, I think As is such an expansive experience in that it encompasses everybody that hears it. Like, I just still remember the first time hearing it. I don't know where I was or I don't know what I was doing, but I remember it being this thing where it was like, I didn't know that music could do this. And I think that that's a really powerful thing. Crying behind the sunglasses a little bit. We're just going to power on through. But yeah, so I think that we're looking at something so emotional from an individual perspective, made universal, versus something super emotional, built for everybody, and it delivers upon that. That's As for me. And I think for that reason, if you're saying what's the best Stevie song, maybe not what's my favorite, or maybe not even like what is the most memorable, the best Stevie song is As.
We have touched a little bit on his social activism in this episode. I think we touched about it a little bit more in the warm-up. But Stevie, especially in the 70s and 80s, was a huge global force for peace and for connectivity. And we don't have a lot of Stevies anymore in the world right now that is doing this on the scale that he was.
And he's still doing it, by the way. Like,
yeah,
we're still
yeah,
in this moment. He is touring on behalf of it. He is donating proceeds. He's still using that voice, and with the strength and kind of visibility that this discography has given him, he's not done. And I think that's amazing.
No. It is. This man has been out there performing since 1962, I believe. We are talking about a 65-year career, something like that. And he's still going strong, and he's still trying to make change as well as make beautiful music. And I'm giving it to As because this song does both of those things. To be honest with you, the first time I heard As was actually the George Michael Mary J. Blige version, which is also very good. But then I heard the Stevie Wonder version. I was like, oh, actually, this is better. And it's just, and you know, if I'm telling you that Mary J. Blige and George Michael are second to something, you know it's special. So, it is an extraordinary work. It's not just music. It is a work of creation. And I think that summarizes Stevie Wonder, who's a prodigy, a genius, someone who is an innovator, better than any other song on this list. So it even kind of, to me, exceeds Best Stevie Wonder Song. It's Best Stevie Wonder Work of Art. So there you have it, folks. Our pick for the Best Stevie Wonder Song is As. Do you agree? Do you think we should have worried about some things? Tell us how you really feel by leaving a comment on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com or find us on Blue Sky, TikTok, or Instagram. While you're there, make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast so you can hear about what new debates are coming soon, vote in open polls, and even decide which topics we tackle next. I want to say thank you to my panel. We are the world. We are the children. And thank you for listening. If you love what you heard, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get even more exclusive content and you get episodes a whole day early. We hope you have a good one. And remember, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion. Now it's time for the harmonica solos.